Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. If you're ready for some big drama, then you're in the right place. Today we've got 10 massive Hollyoaks spoilers for next week, November 4th to 8th. And trust me, you don't want to miss a second of it. Next week on Hollyoaks, things get intense. Leela's going into labor while Joel's off looking for Cleo. The Osborns are in turmoil with Darren missing, and tensions rise when Mercedes has a serious showdown with Grace. There's a lot to unpack, so stick around for all the juicy details. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell, so you're always first to know the latest Hollyoaks updates and spoilers. Let's jump right into what's coming up next week. 1. Cleo wants change. Abe is seriously tense over Cleo, especially with Joel trying to reach out to her, and it's clear he's not handling it well. Cleo, on the other hand, is feeling like it's time to stop the whole pretend to be away thing and actually come back so they can be together without all the sneaking around. She's ready to put an end to the hiding, but Abe isn't having it. The mere thought of her return hits a nerve, and he's quick to shut it down, warning her that people in the village haven't moved on. For Abe, it's more than just a quick fix. He's carrying all this weight about how people would react, and the whole image they've built up around Cleo's absence. In Abe's mind, it's like he's forgiven her in a way that nobody else would even consider. He brings up his mother's death as the big reason why her return would never go smoothly, and why he's the only one truly in her corner. To him, forgiveness was hard won, and he's convinced the rest of the village won't be as understanding. He's drawing this line in the sand, reminding her of everything that could go wrong if she shows her face again, leaving Cleo wondering if it's really worth pushing back or if she's going to have to keep playing along with this isolation. 2. Grace refuses to help. Mercedes is absolutely at her wit's end and feels like she's out of options, so she turns to Grace for help with these risky, illegal cancer drugs she managed to get from Germany. She's hoping that maybe Grace, being the tough, fearless friend she is, might understand how far she's willing to go. But instead of jumping in or even showing a bit of sympathy, Grace stays stone cold, brushing off Mercedes' pleas as if it's all just another drama. For Mercedes, it's more than just a cry for help. She's desperate, and Grace's indifference hits hard. Grace's reaction is almost brutal. She's not moved, not even a little. It's like she's immune to Mercedes' emotions. Mercedes, who's clearly putting herself out there, practically begging, gets nothing back but a wall. Grace flat out says she doesn't care, making Mercedes feel even more isolated in this risky move she's about to make. For Mercedes, it's a harsh reminder that, in the end, she's alone in this fight, even when she's reaching out to the one person she thought might stand by her. 3. Joel searches for Cleo. Leela's anxious about her hospital induction the next day, and Joel reassures her that everything will be fine. But later, Joel gets a message from Cleo asking him to leave her alone, and Leela's furious that he has been in touch with his ex. Later, Leela's waters break before she can be induced. As Abe goes in the ambulance with her, Joel has no idea that she's gone into labor. With Cleo left alone in the flat, she wanders into the living room and Joel thinks he can hear her singing from outside Price Slice. 4. Jack worries about Darren. Jack's really starting to panic over Darren's disappearance, especially since he knows Darren doesn't even have his phone with him. In Jack's mind, this isn't just Darren being difficult. He feels like something's seriously wrong. But Nancy's not so sure. She's chalking it up to Darren being his usual unreliable self, thinking he's probably off doing his own thing. With everything going on at home, like taking care of a sick Morgan and keeping Frankie calm, Nancy's got her hands full and doesn't see the need to worry just yet. Meanwhile, Jack can't shake the feeling that this isn't just another one of Darren's stunts. He's so worried that he actually goes to the police, trying to get them to look into it, but it's an uphill battle. Jack's desperate for someone to take him seriously, but he's struggling to get the police to understand how out of character this really is. For him, this isn't just a case of a son who didn't call home. It's a gut feeling that something's off and he's willing to push hard to make sure Darren's safe. 5. Leela panics. Leela's going through one of the most intense moments of her life, deep into labor at the hospital, and the anxiety is hitting hard. She's scared, not just about how things will go with the baby, but also about the fact that Joel, the one person she thought would be right by her side, is nowhere to be seen. She's tried calling him, hoping he'll realize she needs him now more than ever, but Joel's completely MIA, too wrapped up in his mission to find Cleo to even check in. For Leela, it feels like a punch to the gut. She's terrified and feels abandoned, as if Joel's put Cleo before their own family at the worst possible time. Even with her fears, the hospital staff are there to reassure her, letting her know the baby's heartbeat is strong and things are progressing smoothly, which takes some weight off her mind. But as comforting as it is to hear, it doesn't fill the void of Joel's absence. Abe steps in and tries to calm her down, reminding her that Cleo is supposedly still far away in Bali, so there's no real reason for Joel to be running off. Yet, despite Abe's words, Leela can't shake the feeling of being alone in this, left to deal with all her fears without Joel just when she needed him the most. 6. Nancy receives shocking news. The police tell the Osborns that personal items of Darren's have been found in an abandoned stolen car. Nancy is shocked, and as the police try to calm her down, she shares that Darren has a history of depression. As the family are urged to sit tight and wait for news about Darren, Nancy blames herself for his disappearance, and she is supported by Jack. 7. Leela gets emotional. As Joel finally makes it to the hospital, he realizes he's missed the big moment. Leela's already had their daughter, and he wasn't there for it. Instead, Abe ended up being her birthing partner, which isn't exactly what Leela had in mind. When Joel arrives, he walks into a scene that's both joyful and bittersweet. The family is all gathered around, sharing in the happiness of this new life, but there's an unmistakable tension in the air. For Leela, having Joel arrive so late stirs up a mix of emotions, and though everyone else seems focused on celebrating, she's still processing what his absence means. Later, Leela's emotions catch up with her, and she breaks down, telling Joel that everything just feels overwhelming. It's the kind of moment where she could just be feeling the intense mix of joy, relief, and exhaustion that comes with childbirth. But there's something in the way she says it that makes you wonder if there's more to it. Is it just the new mom emotions? Or is she holding back something deeper about how she really feels? Especially after going through the experience with Abe instead of Joel. That question lingers, leaving us to wonder if there's a hidden layer beneath her tears. 8. Mercedes makes a decision. Misbah is angry with Grace for getting the drugs for Mercedes and says she has jeopardized her health. She asks Grace to help restore Mercedes' faith in hospital treatments and get her to start attending her appointments again. At Casa McQueen, Grace and Mercedes argue, with Misbah caught in the middle. Upset, Mercedes says she isn't going back to her treatment plan and wants to do things her way. Later, she decides to make some special memories by arranging a christening for the twins. 9. Abe feels the pressure. Back at the flat, Cleo's diving headfirst into wedding planning, talking about their future and making all these arrangements that she's clearly excited about. She's not just thinking about the big day, though. She's envisioning a whole new life for them. She tells Abe she wants them to move away and start over somewhere fresh, which catches him completely off guard. For Cleo, this isn't just about getting married. It's a way to leave behind the past and all its baggage, creating a future that's just about the two of them. But while she's caught up in excitement, Abe is looking at her with a mix of surprise and unease, realizing he hadn't thought this far ahead. Later, as he watches Cleo happily piecing together her wedding plans, Abe starts to feel the weight of what he's doing. He sees how much she's investing emotionally, planning this new life, but he knows deep down it's all built on shaky ground. Cleo's joy stands in stark contrast to Abe's own doubts, and he can't help but think about how this could ever actually work out. He's put himself in a situation that has an inevitable endpoint, but as he watches her dream up a life that can't happen, he starts to realize he may have taken things too far. It's a heavy moment, as he's forced to confront the endgame of a scheme that's spiraling beyond his control. 10. Vicky's eye wanders. Vicky's sneaking around to give Freddie some precious moments with his daughter Lexi, even though Robbie has made it clear that he doesn't want Freddie around her. It's risky, and Vicky knows she's stepping on thin ice, but she also sees how much this time with Lexi means to Freddie. To her, it feels worth it, even if she has to keep it a secret from Robbie. She's balancing this act between helping Freddie stay connected with Lexi and keeping Robbie in the dark, creating a tension that's bound to catch up with her sooner or later. Meanwhile, Robbie's putting in the effort to plan a romantic dinner, clearly trying to deepen his bond with Vicky. But while he's working on setting the perfect mood, Vicky's mind seems to be elsewhere. There's a spark in her eyes, but it's not for Robbie. She's got someone else on her mind. This mystery man has clearly caught her attention, and Robbie has no idea that Vicky's heart might already be drifting. It leaves us all wondering who this guy is and how long Vicky can keep up the act before Robbie realizes he's not the only one in her thoughts. Thanks for sticking with us through all these big spoilers for next week on Hollyoaks. It's safe to say the drama is only heating up, with Leela's labor, Darren's disappearance, and Vicky's love life all hitting some serious turning points. If you're excited to see how these storylines unfold, be sure to tune in and catch all the twists and turns. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss any updates or future spoilers. We've got all the latest Hollyoaks scoop coming your way, so stay tuned. Let us know in the comments who you think the mystery man might be, or what you're most excited to see next week. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.